It's Maddie. I feel like I should zoom in. Maybe a little. Maybe that's too much. Excuse me. Oh my god. My fish is in the background, Stella. Today I'm going to be doing kind of a story time slash why I have this weird ass thing on my chest and I have it on my back. So I'm just going to show you guys them first. The one on my back's going to be a little harder to show. So I just have this mark on my chest. It used to be a lot more red. And I don't know if I can show you guys the one on my back. You can kind of see it there. You see it? You see it? You see it? Oh no, maybe not. You see it? And I'm going to tell you kind of how I got those. And what they are. And what you can do differently not to get them. So to start out with, my sister had started seeing a dermatologist. I almost said gynecologist, completely different part of the body. And she noticed that Elizabeth had some moles. Was it Elizabeth? No, Carter had started seeing the same dermatologist. This dermatologist was not a MD. She was a physician's assistant, so she was not board certified or anything like that. And that's really important to look for. Anyway, so Carter had gone to see her and he had some moles that looked kind of funky, and she decided to cut them off. And so I'm going to explain to you the process first. So whenever you go to any doctor, when I tell you the other doctors you can go to should not look like this, basically. Whenever you go to any doctor for this, they will cut the mole off and have it sent away to the lab. So she just cut the mole off itself. And then if it's shown to be precancerous, they go in even deeper and remove even more. And mine were burned shut, so they were cauterized. And I was awake for the whole thing, all of that. But I was left with very ugly scars. So Carter gets his removed, and my mom's like, oh, you know, I've had this big one on my back since I was a kid. Obviously, that one was really big. And then I had one on my chest that kind of looked funny. And then one on my back is right where my bra sits. It was just in my way. It was annoying. I'd gotten over it, but it was like it had always been there. The one on my chest, I had always had two, but obviously as my chest grew, it grew. And then even after my chest stopped growing, it continued to grow. So that was concerning. And with moles being concerning, I'm not going to go down the whole list of what can be concerning. Basically, you should just go to a doctor and have your moles checked out if you're concerned. I had grown 3 on my head as well. They were skin colored. My head would just itch really bad for a little bit, and then I'd pop up with a tan mole. So she cut the ones off my head because you can go bald if you leave them there for too long. She cut them off. She said, it's fine, your hair's going to grow back. Burned them shut, hair's grown back, it's fine. I couldn't even tell you where they were, but it's kind of weird because I could hear her cutting them. Don't let that freak you out. It's very faint. I would rather have moles cut off my head than teeth pulled or a lot of other things. So not bad at all. Yeah, those were fine. Those I'm very pleased with how she did. So the one on my chest and my back weren't this big. Like I said, she cut them off. The results came back that they were precancerous, which means they just have some funkiness going on. They're not completely normal, and they have the chance to turn cancerous. And when you get skin cancer, it can become deadly very fast. So it is important to have your moles looked at. So yeah, I went in, and I've always worn sunscreen, and I've always been so good about that because that can contribute to these types of things. And yes, both of mine were precancerous and had to be done again. So we get them done, and my mom is just like, okay, well, these scars aren't the best. And what really upset her was Carter went to have one removed that was right on his hairline, and he could feel the burning when they were cauterizing it. So they didn't numb him enough. And he could feel them burning the first one, and then they went to do another one right there, and he could feel them cutting, and just it didn't numb him. So that was an issue, and they weren't very polite about it because not all numbing works for everyone, and we completely believe that he could still feel it. Also, they weren't the most sanitary. They would go in and out with the same gloves on, which is not okay. So we weren't very pleased overall with this place. We ended up going to another dermatologist who looked at my scars and said that they shouldn't have been done this way. She should have cut it in more of an oval shape and then stitched my skin shut, so I would have had a little line scar that would be flat. And they wouldn't look like that. And I really considered doing this. The one on my back also I could have had done. And the thing is, for this one has now become skin color. It's still a little pink, but for a while it was so pink. Okay, I don't feel like I was clear there. You can have it cut like that the first time, but I could also have mine fixed and cut that way, like cut out the scar, get that stitch shut to fix the scar I have now. Okay. And some annoying things about them is they'll get hot really easily. Like if my chest is exposed in the sun, it gets hot so fast because the way the skin is. It gets sunburned super easily, and so I have to put like a lot of sunscreen and a lot of moisturizer on it because it gets dry and itchy. The one on my back, I have to moisturize, but it's not nearly as bad because my chest, this bra comes up really far, but like a regular shirt, most of my regular shirts, you can see it, and some of my dresses and things. So my mom kind of wanted to get that one fixed. She gave me the option of going to the plastic surgeon and having it fixed. My mom did end up reporting the physician's assistant, and they basically said she didn't do anything wrong. Which technically she didn't, but she also didn't warn us that we would have these big scars. I thought it would heal over completely different. I've had my appendix out and I have like a little line, and so I was like, oh, just a mole, it won't be a big deal. I have. And she told me as long as I let them heal fine, they would look completely normal. And I didn't knock off the scabs or anything. I took very good care of them because of that. So, now... I decided obviously not to get the surgery simply because it will just be another scar. He talked about being able to get it more, let me just show you guys my tits, into my cleavage. But the way I see it, it's just going to be a bigger scar. It's just going to be another scar. And frankly, I don't want to be cut open again. Also, one day I do plan on becoming pregnant and having kids of my own. And so my boobs are going to like do their thing. You know, I don't know what that means. But they are going to grow, and then, you know, all of that. And one day I do possibly, you know, after I'm done having kids, I may decide to have like some little breast implants put in so they're back to being perky. That's something I've seen some women do, like Karen Swan here on YouTube did it, and her tits look great, if we're being honest. Or I might have, depending on how big they get, I might have like a breast augmentation, I think it's what it's called, where they're made smaller. So with all that being said, a lot could happen to that scar when I am pregnant. Lots of stretching and different things, no matter what kind of scar I have. And the way I see it, I also have thought about getting it tattooed over, but the way the skin is, I don't think they'd be able to. And I think the scar looks better than a tattoo. But they don't bother me now. And Ty says they look like gunshot wounds. So people have asked like, oh my gosh, what happened? And he's like, she was shot. And I wasn't. But it used to really bother me, and now most of the time I forget they're there until someone asks me, and I'm just like, oh, I had a precancerous mole removed. I would much rather have the mole gone and have the scar than have the mole and get cancer and die. Like I said, for a while it did bother me. It's right on my chest. A lot of people see it, but now it's kind of just like, it's there. This summer it'll probably get more red. It does during the summer. But it's just kind of like one of those things, I don't know, like I kind of just got over it, and now I'm with Ty, and Ty doesn't give a flip, and because I feel like sometimes it matters, you know, what your significant other thinks can be important. I'm not saying his opinion is the end all be all, but I'm also really okay with myself, and although they're different looking scars and they're not what I had expected, it is not the end of the world for me anymore. And you know, my mom just said like, you're young and you're beautiful, and if you want to get it fixed, that's up to you, but I'm always going to have a scar there no matter what because I had a mole there. As for the one on my back, probably just leave it. It's my back. Like, not many people see that part. Like I said, my bra covers it. Most swimsuit tops cover it. That one most people don't even know about. They see the one on my chest. So this was kind of just a story time to cover that if you guys have ever seen it. I did get it removed. When did I have that done? My junior year? My senior year? It's been over a year since I've had it done. Maybe 2. And like I said, I honestly forget I have it. It's just something that's there. We all have different weird things on our bodies, and compared to some things that other people have, this isn't that bad. Just had to gain some perspective on it. And like I said, I was upset about it for a while, but I mean, I got kind of gained some perspective, and I was like, I didn't lose a limb. I'm not like hugely disfigured. It's okay. So if you guys do have to get a mole removed, I would just ask, you know, how are you going to remove it? And the first scar might be ugly, but if they have to go in a second time, like I said, there should be stitches involved. Carter ended up going to a plastic surgeon for the one on his forehead. They cut it out like that guy was saying, and they stitched it right up. It was good to go, and you wouldn't even know that he had it done. So yeah, that's kind of my story on why I have it. I don't really know what else to say about it. I keep it really well moisturized, so it doesn't really bother me. It feels super cool though. It's like so smooth, and it kind of looks like a third nipple sometimes. Cause like when I pull it down to show people, people are like, oh my God, like sometimes when I do show people. But yeah, it's not, yeah. And some people think it affects me more than it does, and it just doesn't. I have bigger things to deal with. So yeah, as for getting it tattooed and stuff, I don't think I ever will, because I think a tattoo right there would look kind of ghetto. Not saying people with chest tattoos are ghetto, but like just the person I am. I'm a very tiny person, and I feel like it would just look weird on my body too. And like, just like I said, if I get a tattoo there and then have kids, it'll like explode and just all of that. So yeah, I plan to continue YouTube through having kids and stuff. So we'll see where my tits end up after I have kids and all of that. And you know, it's, yeah, so that's my story. Also, if I would have got it done by the plastic surgeon, we would have had to pay out of pocket because it wasn't medically necessary. And that kind of helped me in my decision of just like, I don't need my parents paying tons of money to have a scar change into another scar. And if my boobs were still growing, it would go in more, but it's going to be right there on the top of it. So my boobs better not grow anymore. So yeah, this was kind of rambling, story time, explanation. If you guys are new here, I do have a ton of videos you can check out on my channel. But yeah, this is a little bit about me. I'm sure you guys have seen it in some of my videos, or maybe some of my Instagram pictures, or those of you that know me in real life. And it doesn't bother me when people ask me about it either. It's just, it's there. It is what it is. It's not going away. I'd rather have someone ask me than like trying to figure out what it is, like staring at my chest, like fam, just ask. Like sometimes people stare at it and I'm like, I had a mole removed. Like that's what it was. And the mole was actually pretty small, but yeah. So anyway, I always start my outro and then end up talking more. I really enjoy making videos, so if you guys do want to subscribe and support moi, if you enjoy the content that I make, that would be so much fun. I also have an Instagram just for you guys, so I can interact with you guys on there. It's such a good time. It's so much fun. And I think that's all I have. I think that's it. So I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.